From Penn Chiropractic, Dr. Randy Penn. Good morning.
Hey, Doc.
Good morning.
How are
Great
you?
to see you guys.
Yeah,
Great to see Andy, Bart. Great to see you again.
Great to see you. And I don't know if this is a coincidence, but this is the birthday of chiropractic care.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
awesome. It's it's the birth month.
Birth month,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we're celebrating it. We're celebrating it all month, but 128 years on 9/18 was the first chiropractic
Amazing.
adjustment. So
Wow.
it's pretty awesome.
I want to thank you for letting me park in your lot on Saturday during the Crimson Oak open house.
Oh, that was you?
I actually parked in your spot.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Yeah,
So-
those guys are awesome.
Yeah. So, one thing, it's also National Drug-Free Awareness Month, and one thing you do, you don't prescribe. You don't prescribe. I mean,
Yeah.
you want an alternative. The alternative care, right? Talk a little bit about kind of your pain management and your process.
Yeah, so chiropractic itself has always been able to help people with pain management, right? And so certainly recently, more and more attention has been brought to that because we need options, right? We have to have options for this opioid crisis that we're all very aware of. There's there's none of us that don't know someone that's been adversely affected by prescription medications that were strategically for pain to try and help people, which certainly is what we want. We don't want to see people in pain, and so our approach and chiropractic's approach has always been is a natural, safe approach to pain management. Certainly, we're always focused on the wellness model. If we can prevent things from happening, then we're in a lot better place too. So, but yeah, from all the research that really supports chiropractic is really the number one choice for pain management. So, if we can find ways to work with the community, with our amazing medical physicians in town or across the country, I mean, they do amazing things. So, really giving them an option. If someone has a sprain, a strain, a tear, headache, any really pain cycle that they may be going through, we have options. We have safe options that are certainly non-addictive. Right. People get addicted to great health and not addicted to feeling well, but naturally. Right?
You're addicted to Diet Coke. I am. Yeah. So the majority of Americans have some sort of pain, and the majority of those, it's back pain. What is it about the back that gives us so much trouble?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's about 80% of our nation at one point or another has pretty severe debilitating back pain. And unfortunately, stress always attacks the nerve system. And the nerve system controls and coordinates virtually every cell in the body. So 70 trillion cells are under direct coordination of the nerve system. So when we're under stress, whether it's physical traumas, blows, accidents, slips, falls, childhood mishaps, things like that, childhood sports injuries, those little jars can throw the body out of alignment, and then that ultimately leads to issues with what's going on in the spine. So physical stressors, but chemical stressors from the environment, and certainly emotional stress, right, can cause the spine to become weak because stress attacks the nerve system. That pulls the vertebrae out of position, and that's why we have such an issue with the spine. And certainly sitting, right? Sitting loads the discs in the lower spine by like 300%. So we're really designed to be upright, moving, and then at the end of the day,
I was leaning forward.
We sit too much,
Do we?
I think, as a society.
As a society,
we do.
no
We do.
doubt,
I mean, we went from that industrial age where from steel factories, where these guys are, bending, twisting, lifting, back breaking type stuff, right, to office positions, right, and where people are just sitting. So that unfortunately makes the spine very vulnerable.
I think it's that we have that graphic. 6 in 10 Americans do take a prescription. That's just amazing. As a parent, as a son, you don't want anyone in your family having to take that type of opioid pain medicine. And also, a lot of what you do can be an alternative or preventative to surgery. And I think surgery is like the last thing anyone wants to do, right?
Right. So certainly drugs are one thing, right? Medications are one thing that are addictive. Spinal injections that can be fairly risky, really risky. Yes, it can knock out the pain, but it's never going to really correct the underlying cause of the problem. So what we do is we attack, when we assess patients, we don't just chase the pain. We don't focus on just where they're having issues or where they're having symptoms. We focus on function, right? So what really caused the pain? We don't just chase where the pain is. We're focusing on where the imbalance is that might be leading to that, right?
If someone, and this happens every day to people, if someone's fine, they wake up and all of a sudden they're in ridiculous back pain. That can just come on at any time, right?
It does, but it's an interesting point that you bring, Andy, is it didn't just happen.
Sure.
Like the stress attacked the nerve system and it had been there. Unfortunately, we only feel misalignments in the spine maybe 10% of the time. So we can have functional issues in the spine and never even know it. Decades can go by. And we see people all the time like that. Well, I didn't do anything. I just woke up and now I can't turn my head. Well, when we go through their history, we find that maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, they had a rear end collision. They were never treated properly right then. They never got realigned, so their body healed, but it healed out of position.
Healed incorrectly.
Right, and so what does that lead to? Then over time, this accumulation of stress, it's like layers of damage, right, that attacks the nerve system, and then ultimately, they wake up one day and they can't move. They're seized up, right? By then they have degeneration.
Sure.
They've got, all kinds of fibrous tissue in there, and that's what takes us time to really help them. We can still help them without drugs and surgery at that point. Many times, sometimes it's too late. We need our neurosurgeons and things like that, and orthopedic surgeons. But if we can catch it in time with our technology today, our pain management technology with deep tissue laser, pulse electromagnetic fields, and certainly the chiropractic adjustment and nutrition things that we can do to really help them manage that without symptoms.
Tylenol PM. People are taking over-the-counter like vitamins, a daily dose, baby aspirin. Oh, these taste good. I'll have a couple more.
Right.
That's one of the areas. It's not just the prescription pains that we're addicted to. It's over the counter too.
Without question. Without question. And thankfully, we have daily doses of vitamins that have been proven way more effective than even NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories that are over the counter. Some are prescription, right? But the over the counter ones are just kind of a little lower dose. It's really the same kind of thing. Is they're kind of tricking their body into thinking that there's not pain, but it's kind of a cycle. Now, if we can give them nutrients like curcumin, that's one thing, right? That has turmeric in it. Those are things that can help the body be deflamed, right? Because inflammation is really what ultimately is causing pain, right? So whether it's a joint inflammation, and that's why those are so popular, Bart, is because they do deflame it.
Everyone wants just take a magic pill and be cured for everything.
Right. And it does work symptom-wise, but what is it doing to the liver, to the kidneys, right? We have heart disease, number 2, right, in terms of overall mortality, right? So we've got to find ways, and I think that society is picking this up now, right, is that we've got to find ways to get away from drugs and surgery and really focus on what can we do to prevent and to protect our health and well-being, right?
Awesome. Well, we thank you for your time today and your expertise. Happy National Chiropractic Month and Drug-Free Pain Management Awareness Month.
Yeah,
Thanks, Doc.
absolutely. You're welcome. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Bart. Appreciate being here.
From Penn Chiropractic, Dr. Randy Penn. More of the morning show right after this.